In today's video, we're going to go over the details on an exciting new faction in AEW. Everything you guys need to know coming up in that story in just a bit. Also, we have to talk about this. This is the most laughable story I have ever discussed on my YouTube channel in the last 13 years. People in WWE reportedly want to warn Tony Khan about out-of-control Shane McMahon. Also, we got to talk about AEW teasing a return, because it's going over a lot of people's heads. People haven't seen the Easter eggs. I've noticed there's a lot of people on social media who have not noticed that AEW is blatantly teasing you every single week, and it's going to be very interesting. So if you guys want more news videos like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring the bell for more information. We got to talk about Shane McMahon to AEW, and I can't believe this is like another topic for another video. But when I seen this article and I seen this headline, I just could not believe it. This is by far the worst thing I think I've ever talked about in the last 13 years of doing YouTube, just because it makes no freaking sense. But basically, Wade Keller from PWTorch.com was giving details based on what happened between Vince and Shane McMahon at the Royal Rumble. So there was a whole bunch of issues, yada, yada, yada. Shane was all for himself. He was very confrontational. He was very problematic. He's been having problems with Vince McMahon. And at Royal Rumble, it basically all came crashing down. So Keller noted how the Shane is all elite memes are popping up on social media, but people in WWE want Tony Khan to know what he's in for if he considers signing Shane. At this point, there is no indication that there is any interest from AEW. Yes, the fake memes are out. Shane is all elite. Tony Khan may or may not want to reach out to Shane. Keller added, people in WWE are letting me know that someone should warn Tony Khan what he's in for if he brings Shane in, because the sense of entitlement, and I don't know if the word ego is the right word, that Shane would bring along with him in the company that isn't WWE would probably be amplified compared to how he was acting on Saturday, which was just basically out of control. I do not know why in the hell WWE would ever care about the type of decisions that AEW makes. Signing Shane McMahon. This has got to be the biggest joke I've ever seen. And if anybody's looking at this, or if anybody's read this article, if anybody's hearing this video and they think that legitimately WWE gives a shit, WWE just tried a whole bunch of bullshit with the advertisers and the Toronto Star newspaper. You think WWE gives a shit if the boss man's son goes and works for AEW? I just have a very hard time believing that. And when I seen this article, I started laughing because, you know, for as dumb as sometimes we all believe WWE is, if anything, wouldn't you want your son to go work there and figure out what they're doing and what it's like? Like, I don't know. It's so strange to me. I really can't see WWE. I can't see Vince McMahon being like, hey, you, go to Tony Khan and tell him that my son is interested and he should sign him. Like, my impression sucks. But you know what? This whole idea of WWE wanting to warn AEW is just absolutely mind-boggling. Like, WWE gives two shits about what AEW is doing. Just like AEW, deep down inside, they don't give a shit about them either. You guys see this image right here on the screen? A lot of people have not been noticing this, and it's actually really shocking. I've had a lot of people mention this in Discord, so I want to bring some clarification. When I see messages, when people ask me, I'll bring clarification to it. This is Kip Sabian. Some of you might know this is Kip Sabian because for the last year or so, they have been teasing Kip Sabian. During All Out Week, Kip Sabian was wearing this underrated over-it box over his head. He was taking pictures with fans and stuff, but he was outside like a normal fan, and people didn't realize it was actually him until later on the smart fans smartened up and realized it actually was him. Now, if you watch AEW throughout the last few weeks, or last few months really, this guy keeps popping up in the crowd in random areas of the crowd. Yesterday, it just so happened that he was sitting next to UFC fighter Bilal Muhammad when he chopped MJF during CM Punk and MJF's match. So if you actually look closely, you'll see this box on the head of a fan, but really it's Kip Sabian. AEW is getting ready to bring back Kip Sabian. Now, I've personally been told that Kip Sabian's return, like there's plans for it, but we don't know exactly when it's going to be. The idea is that, you know, AEW really wants to do some cool stuff with this gimmick. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they've been doing this for so long. Asher Stadium. What is it? Arthur Ashe. You know, he was outside taking photos again with fans. He was out there. What he's doing right now, to me, is a big return because there's so much anticipation for something that nobody knows they're anticipated about, right? Like, this is one of those things where it's like, it's not really it's not really the best kept secret. They're showing him. There's Easter eggs, right? We're seeing him pop up, but nobody's really talking about it because most of the audience doesn't know it's actually him. So it's the most anticipated, unanticipated return. I can't wait to see what they do here. My belief is that he's going to show up at Revolution. And hopefully, now that we have Sammy Guevara with the TNT Championship, it wouldn't be a bad idea to bring in Kip and bring him into this. Keep in mind, Kip Sabian got screwed. Jimmy Havoc, everything that happened to him, then Miro, that storyline was a bust. Keep in mind, Kip Sabian and Sammy Guevara at AEW Double or Nothing, the very first match, I think. I think it was the first match for AEW. That match was incredible. And then Kip Sabian just kind of got screwed over storylines because of other people. And then, you know, just things kind of happened. But nonetheless, Kip Sabian's returning soon, and it's going to be really interesting to see what they do. And for our final news story of today's video, guys, Bryan Danielson recruiting Mox to start a new faction. You guys may have noticed it on Dynamite. This was some really incredible stuff. I was really, really excited about this. But I was really excited about this because this took place after Wheeler Yuta versus Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley obviously wins the match. Bryan Danielson comes out, and he doesn't want to fight against Jon Moxley. He wants to come together with Jon Moxley and bring in the young guys. He specifically name drops Daniel Garcia, Lee Moriarty, Wheeler Yuta. And he name drops these people because obviously this is what the AEW fan base has been talking about, right? Now keep in mind, before Bryan Danielson actually debuted on AEW, when there was rumors of Bryan Danielson going to AEW, there was rumors of Bryan Danielson having his own faction. And we hadn't seen that until this point. Now he lost to Hangman Page, right? He lost to Hangman Page. He did a 60-minute draw with Hangman Page. He had a 30-minute draw with Kenny Omega. We've gotten to the point where Bryan Danielson, he is trying to build the future of AEW, and this is what they should be doing with Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson. The belief is that AEW will, in fact, have a faction with Bryan Danielson. The real question is whether or not Jon Moxley will be a part of it. Because Bryan Danielson here kind of, yes, he's a heel, but in a weird way, what he said was very babyface-like, right? Wheeler Yuta is part of the Best Friends. Lee Moriarty is not a heel. Daniel Garcia is a heel. Does this group become the group that's all about wins versus babyface heel? That would be interesting. But look, there is plans for them to launch a new faction. Whether or not it's with these 5 individuals, time will tell. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let me know. I'll see you guys next time.